Welcome on Wadher Developer channel. My name is Dima. I'm developing a huge portal for musicians, fans, producers, and everyone involved in the music industry. This will be a short but very engineering video. I will tell you how to test the tests, and of course I will set up this solution for my project. But first, I am human and I make mistakes. That's why I write tests, and in the previous video I make a mistake. I set up Xdebug for test coverage, but after I turned it out that he does not work with Swool at all. Of course, I read about it in the documentation and I thought that I simply would not be able to set breakpoints. It is okay for me, but it turned out that it conflicts with the Swool in very non-obvious way, and it is difficult to see immediately. The web app was available via localhost, but only first page. If I go to 0.0.0, all works fine, but sometimes die, and only inside app supervisor log was a simple warning message, non-obvious about PHP force stop. So I spent a half of day thinking that something was wrong with Docker ports and trying to fix them. So if you have Swool, don't even install Xdebug. And my second mistake, I said for the Xdebug we need to install 3 dependency and they are heavy. But it turned out that they are needed only in the installation stage, then we can remove them. It is easy for Linux Alpine. We should install packages with some virtual name, build dependency in my case, and remove it after installation, no matter for what, for Xdebug or for Pico. And our containers will be much lighter, and of course I can use it only on development container. So I'm sorry I fixed the text version, but I can't fix the video. But of course not everything was a mistake. In the last video I advise you how to test your test. Simple break something, remove some condition, replace plus by minus, and etc. And if the test did not fail, then the test is bad. And of course not all developers do this, even those who write tests, because deadline, because laziness, or because scary tech lead requires it and the developer is not interested in writing tests, or they simply forget and may not think about some case that needs to be checked. But it can also be automated. This approach is called mutation tests. So mutation tests literally change your code. Plus is replaced by minus, equal to not equal, and etc. and etc. Each such change is called a mutator. So mutation tests run a mutator, and if not test failed, congratulations, you did not cover this code with tests. For mutation tests of PHP code, we can use the infection package. It contains a lot of different mutators. It depends only on the test framework and configured ability to do test coverage. Fast and PHP unit supported. This is not described in the documentation, but I advise you to install as composer dependency. Everything that can scan the code, install only in dev dependency. And the run command, vendor bin infection. At the first launch, it asks which directories to scan, which directories should be excluded, and where to save results. I want to scan for now only modules, keep exclude for now, and save results in infection log file, right in the root directory. And the mutation test began. As you can see, everything's in mistakes. It looks bad. So I go to infection log file, and as you can see, a lot of errors from service provider. Inside service provider I register routes, set up Laravel health, register scheduler events, and etc. A lot of not fully tested code, and also a lot of mutation tests fail on migration files. Migration and all database directory indirectly tested, so I can add it to exclude from mutation tests. And about service provider, I advise you to test registration of scheduler command inside it. You can see example of test by the link in description. Information about the testing scheduler register is difficult to find, so I advise you to look. Everything else in service provider will be tested automatically because we literally connect everything inside it. Except health check register command, we should not test external package, so I added to infection ignore. In the video you can see that the directory of providers is excluded, but the video was taken before I found the option to ignore. So if we skip provider, run command again, and we can see only one mistake. If we change as command visibility from public to private, all OK test not fail. In real life it is not true, test will die with error, but mutation tests do not see this. I don't know why. And I understand that the same problem will be with as job, as command, and as listener. So I simply add it to exclude of public mutator. Run infection command again, and all good. 100% covered by tests, covered by perfect tests. Please do not forget to add infection log file to git ignore. And I hope you already understood. Mutation test, run your test so many times as there are mutators. Multiply by the number of lines of code that can be mutated by a specific mutator. And this means that they cannot be included to CI/CD script because the check can take hours. But I know the solution. Not perfect, but much better than nothing. Infection package allow you to test only diff code. Diff with some specific branch. In my case, git main branch. But even this can be a very heavy operation. So I won't risk and run it on the server, but I can run it on the local dev machine before push. Yes, inside git hooks, set the minimum mutation test rate to 100. And for test, I rename health check directory, run infect command from pre-push, and no files detected. So I make git add all new directory, git test commit, and run infect command again. And yes, infect running only for changes. Here I have to say, almost everything I say in the video I have already tried on real project with real teams. For now I have no experience with Laravel Octane, and I'm using mutation test for the first time. Therefore I will not make any promises to you. I think the configuration file will have many changes, because most likely I don't know many problems. But I will try to keep the configuration file up to date by the link in the description. And if everything is too bad, I refuse the mutation tests, I will record a video about it. But so far I'm excited, so much so I wrote several custom mutators specific for Laravel. But here I have to say, Russia is a terrorist state, Russia is a country of dung, it threatens the whole world, but you can help stop it. Please write a letter to your politicians asking them to help Ukraine and impose sanctions against Russia. Your voice has a power, use it for good. Thank you. So if you look at the available mutators, you will understand that they are common even regardless of programming language. There is nothing specific to frameworks, but I have experience in both writing and refactoring tests, and I know some weak points in the Laravel tests, which are related to the collections or to the queries in the database. Queries often wrapped into collection, almost always. So I can create my own mutator that will cover those errors that I see or have seen often. First comes to mind the functions last and first. In database case, of course, developers often just write one record inside database and get it from the test. So no matter what we write in real code, last or first, we always get the same record. So I write two mutators inside directory collection first and last that will replace first method to last method, and vice versa. It was not difficult to write such mutators. The package developers give us a template and a test template. You just need to understand the basics, and the most difficult things is to understand the PHP parser objects. It sounds harder, but it took to me 2 hours to write for mutators. With tests. Tests are simple, just write some PHP code and expected code after mutation. I won't show all code here. You can write documentation how to write your own mutators, but I have created a GitHub with all mutators for you. All my mutators, of course. If you want to do open source, this is a good starting point. Write a package specific for Laravel. Package with Laravel infected mutators. Feel free to use my code, but you should know I made it for myself and I could be wrong. So the next two mutators is about eloquent order by. Order by is very important for Postgres. By default, Postgres do not sort records by timestamp or ID. Postgres show first last updated records. It is not obvious for MySQL users. So order by is required for Postgres, and it is important to test order by direction. So I write two mutators. First of one order by with string direction or without, and second one order by desk. You probably already saw that you need a lot of such mutators like where not, where null, and etc. But hold down, the default exists method call removal. It is a name, method call removal, mutator, and here remove chaining method. What is perfect for where conditions, but I could be wrong. Please write if something else comes to your mind. And don't forget to add custom mutators to the config file and add custom mutators to composer autoload methods. And that's all code by the link in description. Test your tests and support Ukraine. Thank you.